Greetings. This is the commentary and sermonette on the song Glory to God in the Highest. I think it was probably Christmas of 1981, somewhere around there, that I wrote this song. I had received a Christmas card from my older brother, and it said Glory to God in the Highest. I may have already had this tune, and that became the chorus, Glory to God in the Highest. Well, my first version, I did a narration to where Glory to God in the Highest was the chorus, and then I did a narration of the birth account, because that's what the card was initially representing, and then I moved into some things in earthly ministry, and then also the trials and the crucifixion. It's a very, very long thing. Well, somewhere along the way, I must have been fooling with it and came up with what I would call a very personal song. And I do have a lot of personal ones. It would be testimonies of things the Lord has done for me, or maybe particular themes at a given point that I was able to get out in song. So all of my songs, for the most part, are very, oh gosh, I hate to say they're like children, because it's not that, but it's like part of me, in that they all have a purpose and a place at some point in my life. In other words, why I wrote them. But I would say this song does strike very deep, personally. I begin it just saying every person has got a story to tell, and I'm no exception. Some people write a book, some speak a book or two, some tell their story poorly, others tell it well. So what I'm asking is for you to listen to this one. I'll let you decide if I told it well or poorly. There was a point in time when I began to search to find my reason for being alive. I had a plan and goals, and although I knew there were some holes, I proceeded, not yet defeated. I found myself defining problems as I could see them all around me. But I couldn't find solutions in men's institutions, nor could I find any diligently searching inside of me. But the biggest mystery that I just simply could not understand was I was just a young man. So many things on my side, and yet my whole soul was so miserable. Now that really was perplexing to me. It's like I should be happy, I should be excited about life, I should be experiencing joy, but I wasn't. See, because what I didn't know was that gaping empty hole was due to the truth that I was without God and without hope in the world. I didn't realize I was without God and without hope in the world. Frustrated and angry, without God, without hope in the world. I would wake up in those mornings and I had what I called a rock gut feeling. Basically what that was a sense of dread. A real sense of dread when I'd wake up, because I didn't have any purpose in my life. I couldn't find why I was alive. I couldn't find answers. I remember thinking at one time, if I chose some career and worked at it for 40 years, then retired and died, so what? What's the point? Now, a lot of the people would call that negative thinking. To me, it was realistic thinking. It's like, why sacrifice and struggle to get ahead? For what reason? Of course, if you read the book of Ecclesiastes, you'll see that someone asked that a long time ago and enunciated these matters much more clearly than I ever could or would, because it was Solomon. So I was frustrated and angry, without God and without hope in this world. And then Jesus said, "Here I am," to a young man who wasn't even seeking him. Glory to my God in the highest. Glory to Jesus in the highest. I said I had a plan and goals, although I knew there were some holes. That's probably a little bit of a stretch, because I was writing my songs, and so I was scheming out how I was going to be able to carve out my niche through my music. And I don't know that I had that great a plan, because there were plenty of holes. The songs I was writing were soul-searching songs where I was looking within myself. But as far as not being able to find solutions in men's institutions, they call them universities. Uni meaning one. That's probably a Latin word or something. It's like unified. But I found that the knowledge, not only in a university, but any knowledge I'd gained before, it was all just spokes on a wheel, but there was no hub. There was no central point or focus. I had a friend during that time period that I'd met at college, and we did a lot of anti-God type things. Just young men pursuing lust of the flesh. We'd gone separate ways for probably 3 or 4 years, and I became a Christian, and I called him up. He was so happy for me that I'd become a Christian, because he said, I always knew you needed something you could sink your teeth into. And I thought that was really something, that Hal, my friend, was happy that I'd become a Christian, because he knew I was searching. When Jesus said, "Here I am," to a young man who was not even seeking him, the last place I thought to look was to the Lord. I mean, if you listen to people's testimonies, it's like you try everything else, searching everywhere. And the one place, the last place you finally, out of desperation, somehow turn to is the Lord himself. Because he says, "Here I am," to a young man who wasn't even seeking him. He looked down from heaven to see if there's any who act wisely, if there's any who seek after God. He says, together they've become corrupt. They've all turned aside. They've all gone astray, gone to their own way. There's no one who does good, not even one. So the Lord reached down to me. Glory to my God in the highest. Glory to Jesus in the highest. Glory to my God in the highest. The second verse. Well, now as a Christian, he's got me bearing fruit in my season. And he's guiding me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. See, we represent him, so he's going to guide us in the path of righteousness. And he's leading me into works that he's prepared just for me. And he does that for all of his children. Exalting me at the proper time, letting my light, his light, in me shine. You see, I'm no longer without God, without hope in the world. For now I'm in God, turned to the blessed hope, separated in the world to bring his hope to the world. Now there I throw a little something in there, to bring his hope to the world. Then the chorus, glory to my God in the highest, glory to Jesus in the highest. Now I'm going to turn to more present but future. You see, the Lord informs me that man, in his pomp, just won't endure. The kingdoms of this world and the rulers of this age are passing away. I'm thankful for America. You know that, Lord. But my heart is at your throne, looking for your eternal kingdom where righteousness has a home. And it won't be long, no, it won't be long till it's time to step into your kingdom. Skipping like calves from the stall. No more pain, no more fears, no more crying, no more trials, no more dying. And then I repeat that again. No more pain, no more fears, no more crying, no more trials, no more dying. These former things, forever past, will never come to mind. For then I'll be completed in God, sight replacing hope, delivered from this world. Glory to my God in the highest, glory to Jesus in the highest. There is so much in this. But coming back to the structure of this song, the first verse is past tense. The second verse is present tense. And then the last verse is a combination of present tense and then the future. So you might say the first verse leading to salvation, the second verse is life direction or purpose in life, real purpose in life. And then the third verse is for the future of a hope and what keeps us moving forward through this age and remaining faithful to the Lord regardless of what comes across our path in the present. The chorus is always the same. Glory to my God in the highest. Glory to Jesus in the highest. Whether past, present, or future, the chorus remains the same. Now, before the chorus of Glory to God in each one of these, there's also, I have three little sub-points here that I'm going to. It has to do with my relationship with God, and then hope, which means purpose of life, really, and then my relationship to the world that I'm living in, this current reality. So in the first verse, I'm without God. In the second verse, as a Christian, it says, now I'm in God. And then in the third one, for then I'll be completed in God. So it's a three-phase thing. Same thing with hope. Initially, without hope in the world. Then, as a Christian, turned to the blessed hope. And then, when His kingdom comes, sight, replacing hope. And then as far as my relationship to the world, when I was unsaved, I was without God, without hope in the world. What a miserable condition to be in the world. This is a hard thing we're in here. And to have no God, to be without God and to have no hope and be in this world, it is miserable. That's why my whole soul was so miserable. Now as a Christian, I'm in God, turned to the blessed hope, separated in the world. Still in the world, but I'm separated in it, or set apart for His purposes. So we relate to the world differently. We're not to recline as those who are unsaved do in that. We stand up and we resist and we expose it. And then we're to bring His hope to the world. So it's a two-pronged thing as a Christian. We're not only separated from the world, but we are also be bringing His hope to the world around us. And then a third, when we're completed in God's sight, replacing hope, delivered from this world. I'd like to say that I figured all this out and structured all this, whether it was the tune, the actual music, or the actual lyrics. But there's a magic to this. Somehow it just comes together. And you've got to expose yourself to the medium of songwriting. But songwriting itself is a gift from God. I will tell you, I have no idea where music comes from, where these songs come from, the tunes. And I believe any songwriter that tells you that they know how they've done this, I just think it's a bunch of baloney. One of my reasons that I would say that is you have these one-hit wonders, individuals that'll do one great song, they never do another. And I've asked some people that have challenged me on this. I've said, well, why would they write one song and then never write another? Did they just decide, well, one song's enough and I don't need to do another? The truth is they don't know where that song came from, because if they did, they'd go get another one. Over the years, people that have listened to my music, this is one of the favorite ones. And there's a magic to these songs that turn out to be very, very special songs. And I hope you're going to enjoy this one. If you don't listen to any of my other songs, I would really like for you to listen to this one, because it is my story. It does strike very deep in me. And I like all my songs, but I would have to say this is one of my favorites. I almost forgot to say this, but the second verse started the moment I called on the Lord. And I'm still in the second verse almost 40 years later. However long the Lord allows me to be here, I'm going to be living in verse 2. So if at some point you see this commentary or sermonette or listen to my song and I'm no longer in this age, just know I've graduated to the third verse. And it is my great hope that I will see you there and we can be there in His kingdom forever and ever. So, I want to thank you for listening. I want you to seek the Lord. I want you to listen to Him. I want you to learn from him. Because that is the place of life. And you will indeed live. Hello, little feller. How are you doing? How are you? Golly. How are you, little buddy? Come up here. Come here. Happy dog.